45.
Oh, man.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening. This is A&M. Appreciate. I was about to see. I got my shit all fucked up. I'm posting for everybody, and so I have to make sure I have all the accounts on my phone instead of my computer, but I have to double check myself every single time to make sure I'm actually switching the account to post the correct video.
Yeah.
Because then I get Drake and Kendrick on A&M, and all the anime fans are confused as fuck, and then I throw fucking Boruto to the hip hop people, and they're like, "Who the fuck's this weirdo?" And it all goes downhill real fast. So make sure if you're trying to run multiple channels, make sure you know what channel you're posting stuff to, because that does matter.
Shout out to algorithms and making something.
Shout out to algorithms.
Algorithm friendly is a thing.
Shout out to everybody. Last 2 weeks between shorts and on socials, we did 60K the last 2 weeks. So appreciate everybody that did listen. I got some feedback from Matt, because Matt caught some comments and some strays too.
Uh-oh.
So I was catching match race because people just attacked the fuck out of my forehead and call me stupid 10 times.
Can I take a stab at what people were freaking out about? Because I also, hot take, realized what I said, and it was light is not affected by gravity, which is completely wrong, by the way, because that is what black holes do. They do suck in light. Which is a massive gravity, excuse me. So,
true.
Again, I did try to make it clear. We were just doing gravitational force is a push and pull. At its base level, we aren't ripping the fabric of reality to create a black asshole. Cut that. Bleep that out. Justin! Bleep it.
Bleeping.
Bleep that.
I see. This shit lets me mark. Now. So now I can mark. Boom. This shit has literally changed my life. They have a little program where you can literally talk about them, and they will discount what your subscription rate is. Plus, you can get paid if you throw it on ads for shit. And I'm like, sign me the fuck up. I will give Riverside the highest compliment of any software or program I have used in quite a while. So, shout out to Riverside. Appreciate you. It's the only way I can get as many clips up as I've been getting up. Because, they take the I know AI is, a lot of people don't like AI. AI taking out these simple things, it just recognizes, if I want to throw a clip together, if you're talking, it focuses on you. And it puts you full screen. And it's and that's not a hard thing to do in editing. You go to the part of the clip, you move your camera around, boom. But every time you have to do that, let's say you got to do that in a minute clip, we go back and forth 4 or 5 times. And then I also want some wide shots. That shit itself, if each one takes you 10, 15, 20 seconds, and you're trying to do that 2 or 3 times, plus put out a full-size video, it's the time saving it has done single-handedly is fucking incredible. It is just, I would do something that I can't say on a microphone for the people of Riverside. So I appreciate you guys. Wonderful fucking software.
Wonderful sponsorship, that free ad revenue.
It's just hit me up, guys. I will talk about you every day, all day, every night. I will can't say that. Anyway.
Justin, I don't normally catch strays. So and since there is absolutely no chapter out.
We technically have a chapter. Because we recorded
Boruto
before the
did
previous
drop
chapter.
Yesterday. You're right.
You will have time to talk about that.
There's nothing to talk about. I put it in I put it in 2 sentences. I hope this is one of the strays I caught where this shit garbage as hell.
No, but we are. So there's not been a Boruto clip put out yet, but you are going to get to do the Boruto chapter review, because it's great too. It picks up on words. Now, some of them are hilarious, because we talked about Drake, Kendrick, and a few weeks ago, and it literally named the clip by itself, Drake is a pedophile. And I was like,
oh.
I don't think I didn't name that.
I think you got to put some stars in there. I don't think you can just say pedophile. Wait, how many minutes in are we? Maybe we can't say pedophile yet either.
Oh, on YouTube, 452. Oh, see, I just a little intro on top, and then after 5 minutes, you're fair game. You could say fuck, shit, bastard, all that stuff after 5 minutes.
Maybe not.
Well, we'll see what they do. Come at me, YouTube. Don't, please, no. But anyway,
I just want to say things so Justin gets bleeped. Justin has to go back and edit this and go bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah. But no. So shout out to people. I mean, we're getting a bunch of comments. I've gotten everything from someone called Will insecure because he was trash talking a player. I was like, that's the internet. I will give you this. The internet, y'all sometimes are funny. Sometimes when you say stuff, it's actually funny. It is. Some of you are actually clever. Now, some of you are stupid. And don't worry, as a part of the doesn't mean you can't like the show, doesn't mean I can't like you. I'm friends with stupid people. I myself consider myself stupid. But don't go on the internet insulting people. Because if you're not good at it, you should just leave it to the people that are actually good at it. Because there is a handful of people where I'm like, hey, no, my man, you was kind of funny there. Like, he made fun of me, but I'm like, that was pretty good. I'll give you that. But yeah. So, shout out to Riverside. Shout out to the people that are funny at making insults in the comments. Shout out to people that have been watching the clips. Appreciate y'all. Before we get into that, though, I do want to, because we didn't get to throw our hat in the proverbial ring of what the fuck did Scopper do? Now, since last chapter came out, Scopper has been predicted to do It is the Power of Love. It is really, really strong fucking haki. It is the one which I like a lot. I think it's probably doesn't work. Is he cut off exactly where the mark is, the mark of the abyss, and so that's what prevented it from regenerating. Scoppers, or to just the fact of Scoppers just Scopper, and if you can fuck a giant, you can stop someone from regenerating. Not my theory, someone else's, but not bad.
I kind of like the cutting it off at this symbol. I just do we know where Gunko's is?
So,
is her on her?
I haven't seen the artwork.
I was gonna say, is hers on her?
I think it's on her left arm too.
Okay, I was gonna say if it's on her leg and Usopp blew off the top half, like that would actually, I think I'd confirm it. That would confirm it for me. But I don't know.
I think it's a combination, and to eliminate, because if it is on her arm, then Usopp would be the fly in the ointment. I do think you need some level of haki, because you have to permanently destroy that still. So I'm going off the basis of if Ryu was literally described as destroying from within, if you have advanced Conqueror's haki and you cut off the mark, that's what prevent it. Or maybe it's got to be totally disconnected. Because it also comes with one of the great mysteries is, well, it would make Shanks for letting his arm get cut off. Is that if he got his arm cut off at the mark, because when he went back to be, or thinking if he wanted to be a holy knight, came back and needed to disconnect himself from Imu or the Gorosei, and he let the Lord of the Coast take his arm, it's okay, that would make some sense. Now, and this is a topic for another episode, I think the Shanks arm question gets really funny because I don't think Oda actually had the reasoning he had for Shanks losing his arm in 99 or 97 is not the same reason that he figured out 4 or 5 years ago in his head.
No.
I don't think Shanks was supposed to be the character he is today. It just sort of happened, and he was like, well, I got him, I'm going to use him, and let's have some fun. And now it's answer why he lost his arm to one of the lowest qualities of threats we've seen in the series. And he's like, I just won't use Shanks for about 10 years, and that'll give me time to think about it.
Sometimes accidents happen.
I agree. And so I think the connecting with Shanks' arm is tougher because, again, I don't think the reason Shanks lost his arm is the actual reason he's going to end up being retconned for losing his arm.
Yeah.
I just don't think he had plan. I don't think the Holy Knights. I don't even know if haki existed in '97.
Honestly,
we're being honest.
Honestly,
Crocodile was a prototype endgame boss, and your boy was beaten by water on top of sand. I'm I don't think haki was a full-on concept back then.
Yeah, I think the idea of presence was a thing because somehow Shanks scared off
Oh yeah,
the Seabees,
the Lord of the Coast,
the Lord of the Coast. But
Wizards employee.
I don't know. I think haki wasn't really a thing until Skypiea. Because that's the first time. That's the first time we really get observation haki. I mean, I guess it's kind of hinted at. Like, it's kind of alluded to with Zoro's fight against Mr. One.
See, I think back then, though, I think he was still on the line of... I think Oda's OG power system was random abilities, which you had to somewhat do with all the devil fruits. And then I think he was just... Because, again, we don't have a real explanation for people. One Piece people are just built weird in different sizes, and besides exactly the classification of giants...
Yeah.
Everybody else is just people, but they all look funny and they all look different. And I think that was his thing. Like, I'm just going to have a bunch of random, wacky things. And so, yes. Because what did they call it in Skypiea? It was Mantra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mantra was its real name. Like, that was just going to be this one power that a handful of people had developed. And it was going to be primarily to that area. And that was it. It eventually got turned into what we now know as observation haki. But Skypiea is 02? 01, 02, something like that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, again, I just don't know of all these ideas where I think everything probably got finalized for his power system once, probably post Enies Lobby is when because that was when we actually got, like, he was willing to concretely commit to haki.
Yeah, that's true.
Lucci was basically the last person we got to beat without haki. Because even, I don't know if he really had an answer for Logias. He was just like, yeah, they're fucking elements. Like, they won the lottery of devil fruits.
Yeah, and
like,
then he was
basically immortal.
Yeah, he goes, lightning. He's like, well, wouldn't it be funny if someone had this insane power and it happened to be countered by rubber?
It's like...
and then he was like, well, what if it wasn't lightning?
Hey, man, because how would you?
Honestly, what if it was like ice? Was I think the first time we hit a wall with Logias with ice. Aokiji.
Well, depends on how you want to consider Smoker.
That's true, but even then, Ace. Like
Ace. That one makes no sense.
I'm intrigued to see if Wit goes back and, like, changes some dialogue or adds things here and there to try to, like, add that cohesiveness over things. Like, maybe we make Arlong. I mean, even Arlong doesn't need to be that strong. I like the idea.
No, Arlong's kind of crazy for what his point in the world is. He's in the wrong side of the story.
Yeah.
See, I think one of the charms when Wit finally gets to do this, and this is not I could do this better than Wit. This is just my idea, throwing it out there. I think there is somewhat of a charm because of what One Piece has become, that the character saying factually wrong things in the beginning of the series is kind of to its credit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world is such a mystery that, yeah, like, my issue with Pell says there's only 5 or 6, whatever the number was, really low amount of flying devil fruits in the world. And it's like, well, we know he was a liar. It's like, yeah, but I don't blame him for not knowing that. Like, what the fuck was he supposed to do? He's a royal guard that doesn't leave the city except every however many years the Reverie is. And he's just unknown to the world.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with him blowing up and not dying, but I don't have an issue with him being wrong. And now I don't know if Wit's going to take that approach, because you could theoretically, in a decade or 15 years, binge watch One Piece with Wit. And I don't know if they're going to want to keep some of that, the first part of the story doesn't know any better through their first 100 or 200 episodes and then let it, expand from there. Or if they're going to do it more of the live action is kind of just, the live action's taking that approach. That, hey, everybody pretty much knows everything, and we're going to throw in these one-liners to let you know, yeah, we're aware of what's going on. Obviously, Garp using haki in episode 8 or 9. It's like, okay, we're not getting confused here. We're not being misled. It's like straight to the shits. Everybody knows the story, which is cool for the live action because the live action's never going to touch the amount of episodes that the real story or Wit is. So I like it for the live action. I don't know what I would do if I was Wit.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like anime tend to go pretty hard into, like, whatever the source material is. It's why, like, we joke about JJK and, like, oh, man, Mappa, you're in a situation to fix things. And the reality is that's just not going to happen. I mean, you do get your outliers. I will say you do get your outliers. You know, the original Full Metal Alchemist did its own thing. Mm-hmm. But I think most prominently it was Promised Neverland that just kind of like went off and cut out the entire middle part of its story.
Amen.
And
did their author get sick, by the way? Random question.
Promised?
It'll make sense. Yeah, did Promised did their writer get sick at all?
I don't know. I picked it up once it was done. Okay. And I think that was also like an issue people had with the anime. The anime was, or the manga was done when the anime started. Mm-hmm. Or by the time they got to season 2, the manga was done. We don't know what happened. I don't know if the author was sick. Got sick though.
So Yu Yu Hakusho's got a different anime ending than the manga, and part of that is because Togashi rushed his ending because he was actually sick. And so there was because I know there is, and Japanese culture is way different than American culture. They're nice. A lot of reasons why most anime people are like, oh, why don't you just change this, change that? A lot of it is a respect thing. That, like, this person put this pen to paper, made this, like, let's make it exactly as they wanted. They changed Togashi's because his was health-related, and they were like, okay, this is literally not what he wanted. He just had to shove something out the door because it's a popular series. He needed to end it for health reasons. And then this is why we have Hunter x Hunter 40 years after its existence.
Yeah, but I know with Promise, I think I heard somewhere the author wanted to do something different with the anime because the ending wasn't well received. Mm-hmm. Or there was like controversy with like the arc that got cut out was the Goldie Pond arc. And I don't know. There was something I remember reading that the author had a say in changing the anime. So maybe you're right. Like, but that also means that Oda could be open to like doing fun. Like Wit could go and be like, "Hey, what if we did this?" And Oda could be like, "Dope."
Oh, I think he would be. Because of how much he's had to, again, adjust and kind of swerve over 25 years, I think if there was anybody that was willing to be like, hey, let's do, like, even with the live action, that's supposedly his involvement. They're like, they kind of toss him an idea and they say, hey, we're thinking of this. And he goes, fuck yeah, or no. And I think his only knows, at least how they speak about him, are he doesn't want anything that he thinks could potentially, like, spoil the story. Not even necessarily the end game of One Piece, but like he wouldn't want. What's an example like for the live action? Like Fisher Tiger. Like if they were gonna expand on Arlong a little bit to try to speed him up, he would probably say, "Yeah, but no Fisher Tiger shit." Because if we get to that point theoretically, like that's a big plot point that still needs to be a surprise.
Yeah,
can't give that away.
Don't mention Fisher Tiger, but like show the anger, right? Mm-hmm. You don't. Yeah. We don't making Arlong sympathetic or sympathizing with Arlong's backstory is not the thing you want to feel in the Fishman Island arc.
Correct.
Yeah.
You get that because then that again, this is all if the live action gets there, which who knows. By the time you get to the auction house, like that story is so cool because of like Hachi's experience. Because it's like okay, you have the backstory of I was introduced to by hating this character. And oh, well, it was racism and he was getting whipped, and now his friend just got shot. Okay, Nami's crying. Now I'm like, she was literally abused by them, and now she's crying about them. It's like, I'm just fucked. All right, I have to be sad now too. And it's like all the characters' emotions. I know I'm rambling here. The character emotions in One Piece, I think the best quote I've ever heard about it is they all feel natural. Everybody feels authentic in their moment, even if it's probably harder for the story. And that's one of the best things I think you can do with emotions.
Okay.
Like, take early on Luffy Usopp fight. Everybody reacted to that situation as their character would react. Like, Zoro said, "Hey man, it's the captain, and I'm following and respecting on behalf of my captain." Sanji kicks him because he doesn't really know what the fuck to do because Nami's panicking and Chopper's crying like a kid. And it's like everybody handled that moment, not like just traditional shonen crew or group of friends. They all handled that moment exactly how those characters would act in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows up time and time in One Piece of like everybody just like, no one agrees with each other on the Straw Hats. They're not this, they're friends, but they're not this, what's the way? It's not closely knit because that's not a fair way to say it. Like, they're not all aligned. And because they're not all aligned, you get different reactions and things that they want per each situation. And it always feels authentic.
Yeah.
It's the best, it's the best way I can phrase that.
I agree.
So, back to Scopper.
Oh, so anyway, back to Scopper. How the fuck did he do that?
I'm inclined.
I'm inclined to think it's just hockey. I think hockey seems to be the answer to everything. And to be honest, I don't think anyone with strong hockey has fought them yet.
We don't know the Giants hockey, but yeah, I would agree with you. But we know Dorian and Bragi have crazy because that attack is hockey based. That shit that they launch off.
Yeah, it's insane. But the strongest, a vice admiral was the strongest person that we saw fight one of these things, and we already know that vice admirals don't do much in the New World.
That's facts.
They're
human shields. That's helpful.
They are bodies. I think the boring answer is hockey. I would love the idea that there's something. I would love the idea that you carve the seal into the weapon, or you tattoo the seal onto yourself, and then suddenly that dark magic mixes with your hockey, and then you can do things with it. And I would love to introduce a new magic system. I also, from a story perspective, don't know if I want an entire new power system here.
Yeah. No, that'd be tough. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think it is going to be some level of, because at the end of the day, at some point, willpower is the most established form of fighting. It's the basis of hockey. It's how all this shit works, and it's the people that are really, really strong, or people that have the quote-unquote just the strongest willpower. They want to be kings.
Yeah. Well, I think it also goes with what Kaido says. I don't want what Kaido says to be diminished when he goes, it doesn't matter what your devil fruit is. It's hockey at the end of the day. Everything is hockey. Everything revolves around the strongest hockey. And so I'm if we're introducing magic or demon, some whatever, devil magic, not a devil fruit, but devil magic, if we want to get to that. I don't want that to trump hockey.
No,
because that just feels that feels kind of cheap.
I agree 1,000%. I think it's
even if it's like also like the power of love too, like how much love you have, like the power of friendship. I know it's shonen, but like we don't need to Zatch Bell it. I'm sorry.
No,
the final spell doesn't need to be all my friends, the tears of Pokemon to unstonify the main character.
I think the one that and I generally try to stay simple. I think we both do. I do think haki is a simple answer, and it is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Because I think that if we're going to start seeing is intention, and it's going to be a lot more momentary. So everybody that's fighting at this point that are A1 characters are all strong as fuck, all have crazy haki. And I don't think Oda really wants to get into a pissing contest of like your haki's level, like Akainu's got level 9,000 haki, and so's got 8,000 haki. Like, remember when the CP9, they literally have a power system for themselves?
Yeah.
Like, I think he did that for them, and it was kind of joking, but it still let us know, like, okay, yeah, these guys are strong. And he never went back to it, because I think in his mind, he's like, I did it once, it's a shonen trope, cool, I don't like power systems like that. I don't like point levels, I don't like power levels.
He genuinely hates power rankings.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's because of like the whole Shanks thing we talked about earlier. He's like, I don't want to be asked stuff. Sometimes you trip putting your pants on in the morning and you've been doing it for 25 years. Do you not know how to put your pants on? No.
So because that needs to be a lot more like what you're doing at that point in time is what's going to matter a lot for your haki. And so Summers, in this situation, his guard would be down because he knows realistically nobody in his vicinity can fuck with him. Like, he's like, all right, Saul, the Vice Admiral, okay, cool, whatever. The Straw Hats, okay, these are clearly the weaker Straw Hats, fuck them. Robin kind of Robin surprised him,
dude,
but it was just a surprise. He's like, okay, she can't fuck with me either, cool. So his guard is just naturally down. Scopper wants to save his child. And Scopper, my argument for old people in One Piece, it's not in a power rating scale. They are strong as you need them to be for about 5 minutes. Rayleigh is still probably top 5, top 10 strong, but it's only for about 5 minutes. He can't fight anybody that's a top tier that can fight for hours or in One Piece world can fight for days. That's beyond him now. So Scopper is still in that same class. Scopper has every intent to save his child. His determination for this exact moment is much higher than Summers. Summers is guard down, not really ready to fight anybody crazy, which also goes with the face of like, oh, fuck, Scopper's here. Why the fuck is there someone I have to care about? And that throws him into such a shock of like, fuck, man, I was going to have an easy day. I don't even have Straw Hat Luffy here. Like, we was going to be chilling. And now he's like, this motherfucker shows up and I have to be serious. So I think he will regenerate again at some point. I think the reason why he's not right now is because his haki in this moment was overpowered, but it was momentary. It's not like, Scopper has stronger haki than him. Scopper went into that attack with the intent, and his willpower was more focused on saving my child, versus Summers is just fucking around because he's not in a high-stress situation, and they don't give a fuck about people. So it's not like, I got to make sure Gunko's okay, or I got to go make sure so-and-so. Like, he doesn't give a rip. So I think that in the end is what's going to be here, is it is haki, and it's just in that moment, if you are the strongest, it's even to Kaido. It's like there were attacks that threw Kaido and did damage because he just flat out wasn't expecting them.
Yeah.
And so his guard wasn't up, and it was like, oh, fuck, that did a lot of damage. It's like, well, it shouldn't have, and if he was in serious mode, would not have. But he wasn't serious about it. And I think we're going to get a lot more of those throughout this last part of the series because I don't think Oda wants to do level 9,000 haki versus level 8,000 haki. It just is going to be a fucking shit show.
Oh, yeah, my level 99 Pikachu is about to do something crazy.
Yeah, like
to this level 100. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'd kind of like to see? So I think inevitably, like, the Straw Hats will prevail or whatever. I kind of want to see Elbaf as, like, the Holy Knight arc.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, like, I wouldn't mind the Straw Hats getting a power-up of some kind. Maybe it is, like, light hockey training. I just don't want them to feel outclassed. I think Robin... I was genuine. I was like, I want to see Robin, like, do some work.
Do Summers up.
Because, like, if you go back to Skypia, and even a little bit after Skypia, too, where they would, like, face off against these things, the big four, it was a big four once upon a time, and it was the 4 people with bounties. Or not the 4 people with bounties, but, like, the big 4 were, you know, Luffy, bounties, Sanji, Zoro, and Robin. Mm-hmm. Like, Robin had a bounty, so she was automatically, like, tossed up there. So,
when she first joined the crew, she technically had second, wasn't she? Because only Luffy was 30.
Yeah, she had the second highest bounty.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, when we got a little bit of her doing thing, like, and I get it, she's not a fighter, but that interaction with Summers to me was the first time seeing her be the assassin that we all know Robin is. Yeah. And it was so refreshing. Like, oh, Robin comes in. She's not in to, like, kill the guy. That's not really her plan. Her plan is to stop him. And if he dies, he dies. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm not stronger than him. I'm going to cheat it. I'm going to make a clone, and I'm going to do what you always do with a clone, which is I send my clone on a suicide adventure. Because who cares? I just don't want the rest of the Straw Hats to get outclassed. Like, I talk about all the time, like, Frankie's one of my other favorite Straw Hats. And he doesn't take any L's because he doesn't really fight. Even though he's the brawler.
His last fight.
He's the brawler.
The Flamingo Screw?
No, it was the Triceratops.
Oh, yeah.
That was his last fight. Like, I get it. He's the brawler. And if Frankie never learns haki, great. Is it because his hands are already made of, like, steel and iron? Yeah. And I would love that. Oh, his passion is his haki? Great. His haki manifests from his passion? Cool. Very on brand for him. But I need the Straw Hats to do
more.
A little more, yeah. Like, right now, Nami is very, very strong because she's cheated her way to being very, very strong. Which,
it works.
Great. I love having a Blackbeard on the crew. But
fair.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think the boring answer is haki. Maybe like how it manifests, like, oh, you manifest your emotion into your conqueror's haki, and that makes it strong and makes it, like, do something. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's run with that then. I don't know.
To the point, really quick, I want to respond to. Do you think that, and this is going to be unfortunate just because they're part of the main cast, but I think the weak Straw Hats are actually probably already strong enough. So I'm trying to think of them in terms of the last war. And I've only got Marineford to really base this off of because even Oda said, I'm going to trump Marineford. But we'll use that as his baseline example for a war setting. Whitebeard's allies did not feel the most intimidating or impressive. and they were New World pirates. So there was a standard of at least, okay, they should all theoretically be whatever the supernovas were at the end of the first half, a tick above that, right? Like, these are New World pirates. Didn't feel overwhelmingly impressive, but they could do, like, they had AoE moments. So, like, if you had to throw the Straw Hats, their allies, the Navy's on the other side of them, Nami summoning Zeus takes out however many soldiers. And that's going to be this big AoE moment, and it's going to be like, holy shit, she's fucking terrifying, and they're going to go, she's like the third lowest bounty on the crew. And she's throwing around fucking Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usopp's going to shoot, and it's going to be this giant fucking plant forestation theme that grows, and that's going to take out some. So I'm like, I say that to say, are they already in Oda's mind probably strong enough? Because they probably never have to be much stronger than above Vice Admiral or Vice Admiral tier. Because you have your theoretical admirals in the big three, and you've got your fleet admiral / other emperor in your captain. And so I'm like, maybe this is as strong as there's ever supposed to be. Like, they don't need to be, the red hair pirates are weird because they've got these 10 super elite people, but Shank's whole fleet or armada sucks. So he has way less good allies than even Luffy's got at this point.
Well, I think also, like, I think the crew needs to be at a certain level. And this, I think, is a negative for haki. We're gonna assume that Zeus having some of Big Mom's soul probably has a little bit of haki. Like, Nami taking a little bit of Big Mom's power probably is her taking a little bit of Big Mom's haki. Usopp has undeveloped observation haki. And then Sanji Zoro, we assume Fishman Karate has something to do with haki. Actually, no, we already know Jinbei has, like, insane haki.
Yes.
I think the problem with it is, like, I think we need to develop what is haki. Like, I know we know it's willpower. I think haki is a very weak magic system on this front, because you're like, okay, Robin's really strong. Robin is not confirmed to have haki.
Correct? Yeah.
She is not confirmed. That panel where she turns into a demon and it's like darkened, and we were like, oh hell yeah, confirmed Robin has haki. When it got animated, she was just dark red.
That's what I was trying to think. I was like, I don't think I watched it animated, but I was like, I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah,
because that's hard as fuck to tell on paper.
Oh, I know. So I think, like, and also, like, okay, so Frankie's also a brawler, right? And we know that, like, by the way, like, Kobe and Garp and Aokiji developed their haki was punching battleships. I'm pretty sure Frankie can punch the shit out of a battleship.
Yes.
So where is his haki? Right? Like, you know, Chopper is an animal, you know, animal instinct, willpower to survive, blah, 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 blah. Where's his haki? I think I want to see it developed on some level. Oh, sorry, Chopper. Chopper had a literal, like, point that was, like, called Brain Point or something. And it was him locking in on an opponent's weakness, which sounds very similar to observation haki.
Yeah.
Where is Chopper's haki? So it's kind of like, why does it manifest for some people and not for other people? And now that the audience has a visual representation to haki, does Marine Ford like you see where I'm saying, where it's like like the consistency is a little weak. And I would love Elbaf to kind of lock in on like, oh, you all have undeveloped haki to the weak members of the crew. According to the studies from O'Hara, it's based off of like passion and like your emotions and stuff like that. And so, you know, it ties in with like the first time Ace uses Conqueror's haki. Well, I guess the first and only time Ace uses Conqueror's haki. He was in a high stress situation, his emotions went crazy, and he did a thing. Same with Luffy when he did Conqueror's haki. Being able to control your emotions allows you to like use your observation haki. You can list like kind of how Naruto learns Sage Jutsu. It's slowing down, listening to like the world around you, becoming kind of still. You know, Ryu haki is like forcing your will into something else, right? So you're like forcing your passion into something. I don't know. Like I think if we want to do a training arc or something, just some way to develop haki and maybe like solidify it, because it is the most rockiest part of One Piece.
No, it's valid.
So
I think that's a fair critique.
Otherwise, I feel like we're gonna outclass. Like I don't want the crew to be relegated to fighting like fodder. You know, somebody like Blackbeard's crew, it doesn't seem all that menacing if... I mean, Van Auger can like shoot a bullet from like real far away. I'm going to assume Van Auger has observation haki. So if we're going to get this sniper duel between him and Usopp one day, I feel like Usopp needs to develop his haki a bit.
No, that's valid.
Right.
That's valid. That's the... Again, I'm curious because we talked at the end of last episode a little bit of like matchups we're probably not going to get. Excuse me. And the reality is, excuse me, when you look at the other Emperor crews, like the Straw Hats aren't going to, it just wouldn't make sense to walk down every single Emperor's crew, right? So you're not going to get every single matchup parallel of like, oh, okay, well, Blackbeard has these crew members, and so they line up with these Straw Hats, and then, okay, well, these are they line up with the Red Hair Pirates, these line up with the...
Well, they confirmed it also, like, I think to be Vice Admiral level, you have to have haki.
Observation and armament? Oh, yeah, armament.
Yeah, you have to have, you have to be able to use haki at the Vice Admiral level. Mm-hmm. And so, by that logic, most of the crew isn't at Vice Admiral level.
That's true. Do we think... See, I'm going to make sure I say this correctly because it's going to sound... Is there any fear in your head, then, that... Now, he made it way longer into the series before he did this. That you end up with almost like a Naruto-type situation where 2 to 3 people fighting actually matter, and then everybody else is kind of just spare parts. And like a non-funny / in Naruto's world actually happened, just we had some spare parts laying around.
I just think it would be kind of lame for One Piece to go that way, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, and I know it's hard. Like, at a certain point, you are, like, funneling it down. Like, Luffy is the main character, right? Yeah. We are going to have Luffy fight somebody at the end of this story, and that will be the climactic fight. But that shouldn't be the whole story, right?
I agree.
Especially now, I'm like, Gear 5 is so chaotic. Like, what's to stop Luffy going Gear 5 and just doing things? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Luffy's on the ceiling, and we've established, like, something interesting One Piece has been established where we are in the final saga, and Luffy cannot get any stronger. Potentially, unless something changes. So we're on the ceiling with him. He's capped out. So what can the other crew do? Like, we have a Holy Knight situation where we're assuming all the Holy Knights are Admiral level.
Yes.
Right? And Luffy can handle them all. But that seems kind of lame.
That's so. I think what's going to be interesting there is, and maybe this is secretly why we have. This would be courageous as fuck, and I don't even know how you would write it. So this is going to sound probably semi-stupid, but just trust the fact that Oda is a better storyteller than I am. That has been my, since we've started this podcast, that's always kind of been my belief. I'm like, your boy writes stories better than me, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would
I got some theories.
I think it'd go against Oda's writing skill if, like, he just said, okay, the crew doesn't matter anymore. You're like, well, what's the fucking point, man?
I think it's probably why he has propped up so many potential endgame bosses for One Piece. Is, like, Blackbeard is a potential endgame boss. For those you still out there that believe it, Shanks theoretically is still an endgame boss. Garling is still an endgame boss. Emu is an endgame boss. Akainu is an endgame. Like, you could make your argument for each and every one of them, and it's like, oh, okay, well, of course that's who Luffy's going to fight in the end. But then you realize you get about 6-7 names deep, and you're like, he can't just gauntlet style this. That would be stupid. Like, if he just went from, like, one of the good things about One Piece is, for the most part, all characters are pretty close. Our only separation, it was like, okay, Roger was ahead of the field, but it's like, well, not really, because he was, like, close with Whitebeard. Zebek was ahead of the field, but it's like Roger and Whitebeard were Roger and Garp were close. Like, there's always been, no one's just Goku'd this shit, where it's like, okay, his power level starts here, and then the rest of humanity's around this area. So it'd be weird if Luffy gauntleted these last 6 or 7, like, is he just gonna go, alright, well, I beat Blackbeard, now I beat Akainu, now I beat Emu, now I beat Garling. It's like, no, that's gonna be weird, and that's gonna do a lot of destroying and very anti-One Piece. Which then makes you think, okay, then how do some of these final matchups go? And I think that's where he's gonna be clever, is that, like, I wouldn't be terribly disappointed if Zoro's final fight was Garling. We've already discussed the theory, like, Mihawk might get sniped out. And yes, that would suck. That was one of the ones that did pretty well. Is it was like, oh, what if we don't get that fight? And the internet did not want to deal with the reality of Zoro and Mihawk possibly not fighting. But if he gets sniped out, we've already had theories that the Gorosei member with the sword is like, oh, maybe he's actually the strongest swordsman in the world, but he's lost to history. Well, you know who else has an argument for that? Fucking Garling. He might be the best swordsman ever, but he's just not part of the regular world. Man, trying to explain manga to people is so fucked up. This guy's actually the strongest swordsman, but he was lost to time. This guy might also be the strongest swordsman, but he's not a part of the world. And the guy who is the strongest swordsman, he doesn't want to be a part of the world or this timeline. He wants to be left the fuck alone. And the other guy, he lost his left arm.
It sounds like Jujutsu Kaisen. And everybody thought that was peak, so, you know, no problems with that ending.
Oh, Jesus. And so, like, I could see theoretically Zoro fighting him. And where this makes it interesting is, do we get... This is how you really match up the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats' final fights are the weekend versions of the Gorosei. Just roll with me here.
Okay.
Let's say Emu and Luffy is the final fight. And again, I'm not the storyteller here, so I'm not. If Emu's the final fight, cool. I could believe that story. If Akainu's the final fight, yeah, I also understand that story. If Blackbeard's the final fight, well, of course, I understand that story too. But if Emu's the final fight, and while Emu's fighting Emu versus Nika, which feels like if this story had its, Ashura Indra, its origin fight, that's probably the closest we're gonna get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emu can't disperse all of his or her power during the fight, so he's like, hey, look, I'm going to call back, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to call back the power that I've shared with the Gorosei, that I've shared with the Holy Knights, because I need to be at 100% capacity to fight Nika. That then, the Gorosei I don't believe to be weak or worthless without Emu's power. They're just not immortal, and can't probably do the transformation into the crazy fucking animals, right? That then lines up, we now have, for the Straw Hats, if a Zoro matches up with like a Garling, and again, these matchups are all fucking weird, because I don't know who the fuck's gonna have to deal with who, but if the Monster Trio and Luffy are relegated to endgame bosses, the remaining Straw Hats getting to fight the Gorosei, I'm not even mad if they do it team-up style, where... Now, in this scenario, I'm not including Garling with the Gorosei. I'm putting Garling in the endgame fight. If they match up with them, kind of like team-on-team style, what a great way to show how, because they are all support characters, what a great way to show how strong they are and how they've gotten. Give me 1 second to answer a phone call real quick. Oops. Good morning. Recording. Boom, and we back. And so you kind of can put them in like a group fight scenario, which I think is going to display their strengths better anyway. And you still give them a very reputable and worthy opponent. If it's like, your guys' final fight are literally the people we thought sat on top of the world at the start of this story. So you don't get an endgame boss, but you get the people literally on the highest fucking chair on the planet.
That's true.
And so
I might be thinking about One Piece too small. And one thing that Oda does really well with his fights is he makes the battlefield dynamic, which might be one of the reasons why the Wano fight with Kaido felt weird and off. For some, not for not. I don't think we feel that way, but that was a thing where people were like, "That's it." I think back to like Thriller Bark, where, honestly, no, wait, the Wano fight was also kind of, it got dynamic towards the end. The Thriller Bark fight though, where Luffy is like the Straw Hats are fighting Moria and Luffy's fighting Moria, and they're breaking the castle, and things are going on like around the Straw Hats as they're like running around trying to like gather everybody up. It's really dynamic, and like things are breaking, and because Oz Luffy is like goofy as shit, and he's like throwing punches, he's breaking the environment around everybody else. And so, and I guess that kind of goes with the Egghead fight too. So the Straw Hats are doing things, but they are relegated more to the overall story versus like Luffy is the brawler, so he is fighting. So that could also be a direction he ends up going, like, oh yeah, we don't need to develop haki with everybody because Robin is not a fighter. Chopper is not a fighter. Nami's not technically a fighter.
I just had a fun theory in my head. So,
dude, but he's made Brook so cool though, man.
Oh yes,
I think Brook is I think secretly, besides Luffy, Brook is Oda's favorite Straw Hat.
Probably.
Unironically.
I wonder if we can find that information out. Oda's favorite Straw Hat. Keep going.
Well, I think if you type in his favorite, it's going to be Luffy. But, and then we got all the stuff with Sanji. We got a whole thing with Sanji. And even Oda was like, I'm not doing this with all of them. I want to finish this story one day. But, Brook has had some dope moments.
So apparently the list. So Luffy and Nami topped his list.
Yeah,
which
that makes sense.
Yeah. But that he does have a special attention to both Sanji and Zoro. While fans believe, though, he wanted to clarify, but because of the extended time dealing with Sanji, that he's if you were to rank, you'd go Luffy, Nami, Sanji, Zoro.
Okay.
Which I think he's always going to have a little bit more. I think it's unfair in terms of overall who likes the character more. The original crew is going to be hard to top. He's had those fuckers for 25
for
years.
ages.
But
I think
it's tough to top those.
From not the original crew though.
Oh, absolutely.
It has to be Brook. I think
Absolutely.
he loves Brook. I think he might not admit it, but I think he loves Brook. Just because Brook got all that stuff with Big Mom. He isn't afraid to have Brook mouth off to people. Which I'm Frankie's the go-to, right? For being kind of a dickhead. Not a dickhead, but rough and tumble. And Frankie, I think he hates Frankie. I think if there's one Straw Hat that Oda hates, it's Frankie. But I think he loves Brook. Even the stuff with Gunko now, Gunko singing Brook's music. There's that tie-in. When Brook teleported to that one island, he was in the middle of a summoning circle, which is now very prevalent in the story. There's a part of me that's I think
he really fucks with him.
I think he really fucks with Brook. He's oh yeah, well Brook also knew about the Roger pirates and what's the theory that he was he was a knight for this kingdom before he was a pirate?
Oh, that's confirmed in an SBS that he was at he had a high ranking position with a kingdom when he was alive.
Yeah,
before he went
when he
to,
was younger,
piracy.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's also that's a really that's a really cool story.
I agree. He did Zoro's and he just said, all right, this is Zoro's mom's name, dad's name, grandpa's name, and now they're all dead. Please and thank you. And I was all right, that's Zoro's story. That's his family. Had a mom, dad, grandpa, everybody dead.
He might say he likes Zoro on paper. We know so much more about Brook than we do about Zoro.
Oh, that's a fact.
Zoro's story is his friend was better than him until she fell down the stairs, and he got the sword, and he was having a hard time, and then he talked to a guy from Wano once upon a time. And that was Zoro's story. That's all you get. And meanwhile, Brook is, in context of the story, knows Roger, he has ties to, knows about Roger, probably knows about God Valley, let's be honest. But that's not confirmed. But confirmed, we know he knows about Roger. He's not afraid to fuck with Big Mom, which means he's got balls still.
Yeah. So this I don't want to lose this thought because there's gonna be another war. but I haven't. I've never asked myself this. This ain't your anime manga anymore. There's just, if you're listening and you are,
there is another war
brewing. There's active brewing. It's happening. Like it's just.
It's gonna involve Canada and Greenland. It's gonna be a war for Greenland.
In the world of One Piece.
Sorry.
Another war. I don't need any more depressing. In the world of One Piece, there's going to be another war. I've never asked myself, how do you get Luffy to war? I don't think we're going to repeat the same trick and go, let's kidnap friend and or family like we did with Ace, because that's how we got Whitebeard to war. So how do you get Luffy to war?
I figured it'd be another incident, right? Like it'd start off as an incident and then it expands and expands and expands. But he also went to war over, I don't want another Robin situation, but technically Ain's lobby is the same energy as Marineford. Luffy plows in and like wages war against the Marines.
I think so. Yeah, it made a lot more sense in my head like 5 minutes ago. My theory starts with, I think Roger made a deal with the world government. Now, the deal was in regards to when he knew he was dying to leave his crew alone. Because we know that they went on like a hunt for both his crew and any possible kids, but we didn't actually have any story. Like they just said anyone who was like known to like just known Roger would have been up for grabs. And it's like, we never got confirmation of any of his crew actually being fucked with. And we know Rayleigh, Scopper, they obviously did not. They're still here. Buggy, Shanks, they're obviously still here. So we know there's a handful of, in real time, strong as fuck, Rayleigh and Scopper. And in real time, not strong as fuck, Shanks and Buggy continue to survive. And I think it was based on a threat of, yo, you leave my crew alone, I will turn myself in, and we don't have this issue. Now that would get rejected because Roger at that point had done too much stuff to where like they're like, well, we're not going to deal with you. And he then took his sword out and enough black lightning flashed that they were like, oh, okay, well, we don't need another war, so bet. And he didn't give a fuck because he was dying anyway. So whether he went to full-scale war by himself, he's like, I'm dropping dead anyway. I will take as many of you motherfuckers with me as possible. Luffy having something similar, now I'm not saying that he's projected to die, but his crew has expressed throughout the story they want to do other stuff besides be a lifetime pirate. Like, it's no one's real dream besides Luffy exactly to be a lifelong pirate. So they're going to want to go off and do their own thing. And so the only way Luffy could guarantee that theoretically happens is by, whether it's a Kainu, Emu, again, whoever's going to be that last face of justice that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to fuck you up so badly unless you promise to leave my main Straw Hat crew alone. Let Chopper go be a doctor in peace. Don't arrest him. Don't fuck with him. Let Usopp go do whatever he wants to do. Go back to his village and whatever with Kaya. Like, let Nami go wherever she wants to go. Zoro will probably get lost and get in prison for another reason. He'll be the Rayleigh of the group. Like, all right, well, I'm in debt, sell myself into slavery, and then we'll just figure it out afterwards.
All day, man.
Because like that's because otherwise I don't know how you get Luffy to war without outright just kidnapping somebody else, and I don't know if I want like a recap of kidnapping and or like I know some people have theorized, oh, it's gonna be centered around Alabasta because now that we know that's the last Deef clan in royalty, that Emu's gonna go, okay, we have to wipe this shit off the face of the earth, but you can't just wipe Alabasta because it's, I don't know if this still hones up. Alabasta, we were told, was the biggest kingdom, correct? Like, it was the largest in terms of size, even though it's a bunch of sand?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head if that still holds up.
That sounds familiar, though.
Like, I don't know if that's still true once we got some of the New World kingdoms, but the New World kingdoms do seem to be significantly smaller.
Yeah, besides
I know
Wano.
Yeah. I know
but
people
Wano's also
theorize
not part
gonna,
of the world government.
Yeah. That Emu will basically start a war there because he's just going to threaten to remove Alabasta. But I could see Luffy going to war in that regard of like a deal to, because Roger would have had the same deal, like, hey, let them go be. They weren't naturally pirates anyway. And Roger probably knew his homies, and he was like, look, man, one's going to go fuck a giant, and he's going to not bother nobody. One's going to go live inside a whale. And Rayleigh, well, this deal is exclusive. It doesn't count to him, because I can't control what the fuck he does anyway. So, just let him be. Which is why they went so long on top of, yes, they're a pain in the ass to go catch, but that's exclusively them. And that same thing would happen to the Straw Hats. Like, if they disbanded, because Luffy became king, whatever, yeah, it's really hard to capture Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei, but, like, you could catch Usopp lacking. You could just kidnap Chopper. Like, there's going to be very vulnerable Straw Hats as a result of them being fucking disbanded. They're no longer under that flag, under that protection. That is my how you get Luffy to war. Otherwise, I don't see it, because like Luffy is not he's not a fight starter. He's just a fight finisher by almost all accounts. He doesn't really go looking for shit. He just will end it if you're fucking with him and or his homies. So, yeah, that's really my only way I can think of going to war.
I mean, that would be... I guess it also depends on where this final war is going to take place. I'm inclined to think... Like, I'm inclined to think the Straw Hats need to invade Marijois. Or go to wage war against Marijois in some way. I think it'd be interesting if... the allies get, like, the ally kingdoms get kind of blown off the map. I think that would piss Luffy off just enough to climb the red line, because that's what Luffy doesn't go to war for nothing. Luffy has to get mad to wage war, and so you do that by like fucking with his homies. Yeah, I don't know.
Does he know? And I remember, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Does he know about Bartolomeo?
No.
That's hidden news still.
Yes.
Okay. Because I am really curious what the fuck it'll be our first time of like, how does he act when it's two people that he likes that don't get along? On that level. Like, in the crew, there's been moments, but I don't know if on that level of, like, if you found out Shanks beat the shit out of Bartolomeo, blew up his ship, and basically left him to die. I wonder how that would go. That'll be... Yeah. So.
I don't know.
And then they go back to
Scopper. I know, it's kind of a bummer we don't have a chapter this week, but
they've been going so quick, and then they get on a break week, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah, it's fine.
All right, I'm gonna pull up a couple TikTok things here. I'm gonna give Matt a chance to respond.
Oh no!
For the most part, people like you and what you have to say. You were actually our first handful of videos that did really well. They were around A&M, and they were primarily you talking. So the people do like you. If we were running the popularity contest, people do like you.
Oh man, just call them racist. The people like me. Oh my god.
That's. Hey man, look. Let's see here. Oh, that's been around about the page. I'm trying to make sure I gotta go through here. Maybe. Oh no.
All I'm saying is if A&M's like view count is significantly higher than all the other shows in February, that says something about your audience. Just saying. Your audience, our audience. Our audience is... Come on, guys.
It's our audience. This is a... I say it. We are a group project. Let me go to the actual one here. Hold up. So because I posted... So what's nice, too, and because it's content... I don't want to say it's content farming, but because basically it's short. You can throw your same short up on TikTok, on Instagram, and so... Do we use this? When I put the video up, does it go on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and a YouTube short? You're damn right it does.
Damn, Justin. Justin has time on his hands.
The amount of time that I don't have, but Riverside has saved me. Again, I am all here. Oh, video games. Oh, I hope they didn't delete the fucking topic. So we talked about video games, and it was a discussion on the value they have, and the people are on your side.
Oh, the people are on my side.
Because I am apparently a degenerate fuck because I am not a Zelda enjoyer to the point of there was just a chain of... So you got the look, too. He's like,
there you go.
Kind of right.
I don't know what to tell you. You don't have 400 hours to invest into a video game? What's wrong with you?
Fuck. I just pulled it up on... Oh, that's the Miyagi versus Ron. I'm going to save that one. So, but yes, the video games. How does someone claim they like video games but don't like Zelda? Let me be very clear for the Zelda fanboys really quick. Because, again, there's like 5 people that jumped on this. And they're just like, Zelda's the whole reason I bought a Switch.
Wait, some people don't like first-person games. Or like single-player games. That's a fair thing.
Well, there's nothing fair on the internet.
That's true. That is true. I'm inclined to think that your average Call of Duty fan does not give 2 shits about Zelda. Because that's fine, because I don't give 2 shits about Call of Duty.
That's valid as fuck.
You know, I can go, they both exist in the same space, and that guy, the Call of Duty fan, is in the corner shouting slurs into a crack on the wall, and I'm over here in high school trying to relive the glory days playing my Zelda.
I'm gonna clip this as a response because I think things that are really, and Zelda is and I don't think I've ever disrespected in this regard. Zelda is easily probably one of the most 5 recognizable video game franchises in existence. So much so that I think there is casual people or people learning video games that when you're like, play The Legend of Zelda, and they give you the link, motherfucker, they go, what? So, sell me on Zelda, 30 seconds or less. Give your best promo pitch to how you would sell someone on the Legend of Zelda franchise.
Oh, I would say if you don't know what type of video game you want to play, if you want like a game that you can sink a lot of time into and just kind of run around and explore, I can't speak for every Zelda game, but I would say that your Breath of the Wild, your Tears of the Kingdom, and your Echoes of Wisdom are 3 really, really good games that aren't solely focused on combat. Is there combat and bosses in the games? Of course, it's a video game. But there is puzzle. There's puzzle crafting. Problem solving, puzzling. Crafting mechanics. There are exploration mechanics that are really, really fun. There are tricks that you can learn how to do. Like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, if you want, all you could do is snowboard all day. And that is totally something you can just do in that game. If you were into like combat, Echoes of Wisdom doesn't really fall into this, but like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, those are like Souls-likes. Bosses are set up like Souls-like bosses. So if you want to like just fight the bosses, go ahead and fight the bosses. Yeah. I don't know. Like if you like single player games, go play that. If you want to go play with people, that's not the game for you. It's the one thing you can't do is play co-op in it.
Valid.
I said it like this. So, my wife isn't really into video games, but she likes games that have problem solving or puzzle focus to it. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is almost entirely puzzling. To the point where I would say like the combat is like super easy. Like right away you find something that can take out all the enemies. It's really more about like traversing the environment, because I don't know if you know anything about this game. Justin, do you?
I know very little about
Okay.
Zelda.
So, one, you actually get to play as Zelda in this game. Whoa. Kind of crazy for a Legend of Zelda game.
I didn't know you got to play in Zelda in any fucking game.
You and me both, man. No, I think this might be like one of the only. I think there's like maybe another. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough on the topic. But, yeah, so you get a power that can basically like handle all of your enemies. But how it works is you come up to items in the game, items and enemies, and you scan them with your wand, and then you can like summon them whenever you want. And so what this means is you can like go up to a bed, scan a bed. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, cool. It means I can summon a bed, but it also means I can summon another bed on top of it, and another bed on top of it. Okay, cool. I can now make stairs using the bed. Oh, okay. I'm going to now use a water tile to like make water float here, and now I can like swim in a vertical direction. It adds so much like the combat in the game's moot. It's all about exploring in that game. So if that's the type of thing you want, if you're really interested in exploring and like utilizing like a bunch of different ways to like solve problems, then that is totally a game that's for you. If you only really like Smash Brothers, Justin, I would say this game is not for you.
I like other games. I like GTA. I like what's my top 5? Probably like in terms of hours played.
GTA has to be pretty high up there for you.
GTA,
I'm trying to think about your repertoire of like games played, and I'm like GTA has to be pretty high up there.
I wonder if I've played like, because most of the games I play are franchises, and so
yeah, it's true. I wonder if Pokemon
list
also makes that list because you have replayed
Pokemon
it so
the
much.
franchise, yes, it 1,000%. If it's either GT,
well, I won't say the franchise, but I will like double them up. So like your Pokemon Scarlet, your Pokemon Sword.
Black, White 2, I probably have an inhumane amount of hours, because I have. That's by far my favorite game to Nuzlocke, to the point of I've done it multiple times.
Dude, I'll tell you right now. You want the most fun Nuzlocke, unironically, because it's one of like the worst. It's considered one of like the worst Pokemon games. BDSP is the most fun Nuzlocke you will play, especially if you're doing hardcore and level caps, because Gym 3 and 4 have the same level cap, which means you need to have an A team and a B team to handle it, which you can do because there's an EXP share. It actually playing that game with hardcore like rules, the XP share actually benefits you. It's like, I would argue and say for vanilla Pokemon, it is the best Nuzlockable game.
So, I fucked up. So I did Brilliant Diamond. I think I've only done it twice, but I did it a few years ago, and I fucked up because I allowed the trade evolutions, and so the trade evolutions.
If you're playing vanilla Pokemon, if you play vanilla Pokemon, or if my rule in vanilla Pokemon is you don't trade. Like, if you get a trade Evo, sorry, buddy. Because, Justin, the Eviolite exists. So, if you really want to use that Haunter, you need to find the Eviolite. Oh man, Porygon Z is locked from you. That sucks to suck. Yeah. I fucking love it. It's such a fun Nuzlocke.
The only game I'll make an exception for trade evolutions, and it's very specific to game and the Pokemon, is one of my favorite runs of all time, and one day hopefully I'm able to do it actually like on stream, is Psychic type run in Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. Mainly because you fail the run immediately if Abra uses teleport. You just lose. There's nothing else you can catch early on, and you're just dead. You're like, bet. Sorry, because it's literally the only way Sword works, because yes, obviously your first rival fight, and depending on the game, I'm a little more finicky depending on the beginning of the games because there's now multiple variations. Sword and Shield, I don't consider the run started until you start with Blitbug, because it can turn into a Psychic type. Mm-hmm. But you can't use it because not a Psychic type yet. So I kind of just, that first part, I go, okay, that doesn't count. I'm basically considered that my starter. Because you have your first rival fight, whatever. Your actual first Pokemon is, with the DLC, Slowpoke.
Yeah.
So you have Slowpoke, and it's great, because then if you want Abra, you have to beat, it's a great first fight, you have to beat the bitch who's in charge of the school, or one of the instructors at the school, and she uses Poison type. Because she's got fucking, what's the other stupid bug's name I can't think of? She's got, where's the DLC? Hold up. Let me pull this up.
At the school? Oh, you're talking about in the dojo?
Yeah.
Are you talking about when you, because I'm pretty sure you can get Abra as soon as you get out of the train station.
Out of the train station.
But
you have to fight her.
You do have to fight.
You
have to fight Clara. That is true.
Yes, and she's got a Poison type.
Yeah,
I think that's her name.
Is she just poison?
She's poison, and I think she also has a Slowpoke.
I can't remember.
Probably about
because that was her thing. You're right. Clara is poison. The other one is what is it, Clara and Avery or something? The other one's Psychic.
I've actually never done the dojo, so I've never gone in there. I know
this is what I'm saying, Justin. You wouldn't like Legend of Zelda. You don't like your single player games.
I went but it's great. So yeah, you get Slowpoke and then you get Abra. Now, the Psychic run is really fun in that game because at some points you do really just feel like you owned the world. Because Psychic types are glass cannons. So the things they're really fucking good against, it's like, oh, we just sweep and it's not you turn your brain off.
Yeah.
But it's fun as fuck. And it's why I allowed Alakazam, because you only really have access to Metagross for exactly the Leon fight. And so I was like, all right. But I was like, Alakazam, there was a couple scenarios where I'm like, I think I need a little bit more than Kadabra, or I think I just die. And I was okay with Alakazam because, again, yes, he's fast as fuck. He has insane special attack. Anything gets the jump on him, you're just dead. And so I was okay with, for the Psychic run, using the trade Pokemon. And who's the enemy team in Sword? What type do they use?
Yeah, okay.
And So there's a bunch. So Psychic is insane, but that game kind of challenges them perfectly. And there's also this moment where it's it's either 36 or 38, but there's the wild Lipard running around, and it's fast as fuck, and it's open area, and you're just like, I have to avoid it because it'll chase me down, and it'll just end my run. And I'm like, because it's faster than Alakazam for some stupid fucking reason, and I'm like, it'll just kill me. So you just kind of, I remember I just stood there for about like 5 minutes looking at it, and I'm just like, I need to, what's the fucking Snake game on the computer back like when we were kids, and you have to you have to time it where you don't run into the wall. It's that same shit of like, yeah.
You said the Snake game, Snake? Justin, you're not making the people's case here.
And I had to wait for this motherfucker to run away and like run in full speed and just hope he didn't come get me.
That's funny. No, I could never really get into type locks. I usually gravitate towards flying types or Pokemon with wings, which ironically does not mean it's a flying type. But I don't know. I never really like enjoyed doing, like, I did the Sword and Shield Nuzlocke, and I was like, oh, okay, it's okay. It gets that level spike between gyms 3 and 4 was always like, that's like one of the most challenging parts of the game, I think. I don't know, man. I finished my BDSP one and I was like, it's kind of hype. Especially if you're going vibe base. I was definitely like, I'm not going to do calcs. No. What was it? I was so fucked by the time I got to Cynthia. I did vibe base all the way up to that one fight. And I was basically like, I need to know what her EVs are. I had to. I was like using Dialga because I was like, if you're going to give me the fucking legend, I might as well. Right. I had also just lost my Magnezone and I wasn't about to grind out a Lucario. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I think Roar of Time does this. But if it doesn't, I lose the Nuzlocke. I don't know. It's pretty hype. Honestly, like, I'm kind of thinking about doing it for old school Fire Red Leaf Green. Only if I can like hack in like rare candies and stuff.
I have two things. So I was never a big calcs guy on Nuzlocke. I did a lot of because.
Oh, me neither.
I get it.
I am purely vibe based, but I was definitely like, the other thing with BDSP is the punishment of losing to Cynthia and restarting the whole thing.
Oh,
when I will say the negative side of it is all of your encounters are so front-ended. So it's not really like in your best benefit to be like sacking left and right. But because everything's so front-ended, you can actually make an A team and a B team. You know, I have to save these Pokemon because what am I going to do post fighting one? Like, I have to hit that level 30 level cap because Lucario's crazy. And now what do I do against the next level 30 cap? And it's like, okay, well, I can't use Turtwig. Or I can't level Turtwig up to 30 yet. So your Grotle is not a Torterra when you fight Price. Price? Is that the fourth one? I think so. Yeah. No. No, it's not. It's Crasher Wake. It's Wake.
Bryce is 5, right? Or Bryce is 5 with the ground steel types?
Bryce is 2. He's the 7th gym leader. He's the ice one.
Oh, no, I was saying, who's the steel type leader?
Byron.
No, wait, Byron's... I thought it was Clay. Am I going different game?
That's Gen 5.
I'm going different game. Okay, my bad. Because isn't he Byron's dad? or son. Aren't they related?
No, you're thinking of Rourke from Rourke and Byron are
okay.
Yeah, because it's Rourke, Byron, and then the Underground Man's the grandpa.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's the other thing too. The Underground, you get one Pokemon from the Underground. You give yourself a rule though. You go, I am allowed to pick the room I go into. But once I establish that room, I have to pick from that room. So it's like you go, I really want to hit this specific room. You go in, you get one Pokemon in the Underground because you can get all of the Platinum expansion Pokédex. So it's like knowing, and every time you get a gym badge, depending on the certain number of gym badges, the Pokemon change down there. So it's like, do I get my Underground encounter right away, or do I wait until like I can get something cool like a Magnemite or a Magneton? Or am I hurting really bad and I killed all of my grass Pokemon. I have no answer to Crash or Wake. So I gotta go down there, I gotta go get a grass type. Yeah, like it's a really, honestly, it's a really fun Nuzlocke. And then like having competitive stat Elite Four makes it even better.
I didn't get into using calcs of any sort. Like, I'd move check. Like, I would make sure I knew what moves were on, like, the gym leader's Pokemon. But I didn't get into calcs until I did Scarlet and I did a water lock. And that was because I just did water because I love water types. Just always been, like, I'm a Blastoise fan. I go all the way back. I fuck Marshtomp. Like, all of them are great, right?
Did you do a water lock in Sword and Shield?
I have not yet, but I'm down as fuck.
I'm saying, like,
I need to do it.
They'll give you a Squirtle that's you can G-Max if you do, but you have to do the dojo.
Old starters.
Yeah, you have to do the dojo.
Oh,
which you get a Squirtle right away, by the way. So it's like one extra fight.
Matt might have just sold me on that.
Yeah.
It don't take much to sell me on Sword and Shield.
Wait, hold on. So if I say the Pokemon's name Urshifu, does that mean anything to you?
I know who he is because I've played randomizers. I don't actually know him from his real game. I know he's in Sword and Shield because I found out after like seeing him on the randomizer. But no, I never did. I just, for whatever reason, I never did the dojo. I want to do. This is a lot more setup, but my dream sword run. This is for I have 2 runs. If we get to 1,000 people on Patreon, and Matt will join me for one of, maybe both of them. We will do a Scarlet Shiny Lock and hate ourselves because it's going to take about 6 weeks. I already said.
Oy, dude, don't. That game is such dog shit. It doesn't. You don't
this
even.
This is $5,000. Just say it. $5,000. We could do a Scarlet Shiny Lock.
Jesus, I'd rather watch One Piece.
Or it's a Alolan Sword Lock, which takes a lot of setup too, but it's one of the coolest ways I think you can play that game. Because when you get the Isle of Armor, you get all the Diglets immediately, you get all of the Alolan versions, and they even level cap you naturally because you can't even you get I think they cap out at like 60. Like in the Doug Trio is 60 or something like that. You can't use him until you get to that level cap in the actual story. But so you don't get to catch anything new, but you unlock new Pokemon as you go up. And I'm like, it would take a fuck ton of setup because you got to watch the stupid 20-minute video on where all the Diglett are. And
what are you talking about? You just
that's who you run with.
You just vibe based find them all. Like the setup I did for my I wanted to play Sword and Shield with Incineroar and not Scorbunny. So I was like, fuck yeah, baby. We're gonna get to the Isle of Armor. I love using the Isle of Armor for the Isle of Armor is such a because it takes you get it to it right away. As soon as you get your number, you can go there. Like Isle of Armor gives you so many avenues to like start the game in a different place. So like instead of having your 3 starters, you can like run with Bulbasaur or Squirtle. If you want to use them as your starter, you can do that. If you want to do one of the Alola starters as your starter, you can totally do that. If you just want to like catch something in the Isle of Armor, hey, you know what? I want to kind of play with Miltank, and I want Miltank to be my starter. You just go catch that, and then it's right at the level cap, level 15, and then you're like, okay, cool, let's just play the game with this is my starter.
Bugs.
I had so much fun with Sword and Shield. It's still, unironically, one of like my favorite Pokemon games. For casual play too. For casual play, and no, Alola Lock's pretty sick. Am I allowed to use other Alola Pokemon, or is it just what? Is it just what they give you? Just what the Diglett guy gives you?
The Dugtrios. Yeah. Because it's that's now I have not. Again, this is part of the other thing. So one of the things I had to learn, because this is what the calc's talking about, Scarlet Water. The Electro Gym is almost impossible unless you're willing to sack off damn near everybody you get. Or the only strategy I found that works is I had to intimidate Belly Bolt down to it did nothing. And so just constantly switching in and out Gyarados. Then I had to put leftovers on Dreadnought. And Dreadnought learned Swords Dance. And he had to do +6. And even then, no, because I don't even think it's... Because there's a reason why...
I could not get into Nuzlocking Scarlet Violet just because of the way it was laid out. And I was like... Because one of the things I really like about it is routing, to me, is a really big part of Nuzlocking. And so you go like, oh man, how do I, like, take BDSP for example. You go, how do I guarantee Pikachu? All right, I have to hit the Trophy Garden. Okay, that means I need to get everything in the Trophy Garden except for... I mean, Pichu, Pikachu are the only ones, right? And so, like, you go, okay, I need to get, like, Starly and Badoo, and because there's a Rosalia in there. And it's actually really easy to route. You just kind of, especially in BDSP, if they went the Platinum rules, it would be a little harder because you could just go to it. Anyway, but yeah, you just kind of go all the way around, and you get to it. And if you did your routing right, you can just get Pikachu. It's like a free Pikachu. I'm trying to think of what else is in there. Because there was one that was like... Is it Cleffa? Is Cleffa in there? There was one other thing. But if you do your Mount Coronet right, and you like sack your Mount Coronet, you go, okay, I'm going to like try to route so I can guarantee Clefairy. So I can guarantee Pikachu. I just think it's more fun. And I might be misremembering it because I don't have it in front of me. But like I remember hitting the Raichu. The first time I Nuzlocked the game, I hit Raichu, and I was like, I'm gonna teach it Grass Knot, and I'm gonna use Raichu to sweep Crasher Wake.
That's hilarious.
It was so dope. It was so dope, man.
I was trying to think. I was like, because I know there was some that, because the other thing that fucked me up with that fight, what made it even more annoying, was I auto lost, because Dreadnought's fast as fuck for like no reason.
Yeah.
But I auto lost the fight if in the process of Swords Dancing on Bellyvolt, no, because I couldn't even Swords Dance because it wasn't automatic. If I lost automatically if I procced the stupid static thing. Because then I was slower and Miss Magic was gonna one shot anything I had, and so I had to get, I had to get max attack, don't get paralyzed, and pray we just kill it in one hit. And I was like, and I was still just barely in range at +6. That was, I had to like sit there and go like, how high does can I do it at +4? No. I had to be +6 in order to one-shot Mismagius. Otherwise, it would have just wiped my team. And then I watched a Nuzlocke on YouTube who I like. He did it, and he did the sack 5 strategy. So he walked into that fight with 6 waters. He walked away with 1, and that's only because Mismagius missed its stupid, it's not even Thunderbolt. It has a,
Charge Beam.
It's got a,
Charge Beam.
Yeah, which does not have 100% accuracy.
Yeah, it boosted special attack, though, if it hits.
Oh, yeah, it's a sweep machine. It's just, it gets you 1, and it's fast as fuck.
Does her Mismagius also have Hex? So,
yes.
like, if you're paralyzed from the others,
twice as much.
She'll just one-shot you with Hex? Yeah.
And no weakness.
It was like the only fight they really put thought into was Iona. Because I'm like, I was like, I went from her to the 4th one, and I was like,
she was tougher.
I was like, she has 4 moves. I'm pretty sure her Mismagius has 4 moves.
No, it's only Hex, Charge Beam, and fuck, what's the other one? It's Hex, Charge Beam, and
not Hypnosis, right?
No, fuck, I'm so upset because there's a way to cheese her Mismagius, and it's you throw a normal type. And if you have a normal type and a ground type on your team, you can just cheese her. Confuse Ray.
Oh, yeah.
There we go, because that's the other way I think I could lose it. Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah,
you
self-hit.
I'm fucked up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Dude, give me back the Pokemon games with 4 fucking moves on... This shit's easy mode, man.
Because I remember I took it as like because I didn't want to just because I got myself in that position. I remember I told myself I'll just count it as a reset counter, but I wasn't going to go all the way back to the beginning because I'm like, it's just a luck chance.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I set it up because it wasn't static, but it was I was paralyzed because it was either a speed tie or I was still slower than it because Mismagius is too fucking fast.
Yeah.
And the first time was paralyzed, crunch, and Dreadnought bit the shit out of itself, and I was like. Well, I lose.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
So it technically took me 4 times, but it sucked that it was just on this one moment in the game, because I had mapped out a bunch of other points, which I do now. I will now map out certain Nuzlocks, and I'm like, okay, is this actually possible? Or am I going to get to like Gym 7 and hate it because I've just ran into the theoretical wall, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. So I did water, I mapped out water, and I was like, I just don't have a way of doing this except praying I don't hurt myself in confusion. Mm-hmm. And I counted as a reset, and then it fully reset the game. Because I was just going to do the same shit again. I was just going to get another fucking Dreadnought, level it up, and do all that. I'm like, I don't need to just waste time.
Yeah.
So it took me 4 chances before Dreadnought finally did crunch and killed Mismagius. Who else was a bitch in that game? The final fight still kind of sucks regardless for water. Especially because I lost my Tatsugiri right before the final fight. That was unfortunate. Because I wanted to do Choice Band, or no, not Choice Band, I'm sorry. I wanted to do Focus Sash Draco Meteor with Tatsugiri because I thought nothing would be funnier than seeing Roaring Moon, who's this terrifying, cool-looking Pokemon, just get one-shotted to the stupid little fish flopping on the ground with 1 HP. And I wanted that to my final screen, and I didn't get it. So,
so
like,
funny.
Oh man,
dude, yeah. I'm looking at the old BDSP list, and I gave myself a level cap of 63 for the champion, or for the Elite Four, just because it's one of those ones that like gradually get stronger as you go, and 63 is the level of the last one's Bronzong. Elite Four's Bronzong, but her Cynthia's Garchomp is 66, so you're guaranteed to go into that fight underleveled, and or maybe not. If you get enough XP, maybe you get something that hits 66. More than likely, though, you're gonna be underleveled for that fight. It is so sick, man. It is such a sick fight.
I have a.
And then, like, I forgot.
Do you ever still your normal hard time?
Yeah, I got a hard out 6. But one more thing, too. I forgot the gym leaders. Like, all all their Pokemon have 4 fucking moves, and they added the they all have items. I'm like, yo, man, this game's really cool. For vanilla Pokemon. If you want something harder, go play Run and Bun. I don't. Yeah, I do Black 2 Redux. Yeah.
That game's a motherfucker. I was so frustrated with that shit. I stopped. I was like, "Fuck you guys!" Like, I wanted tough, and some of those are genuinely really fun. But
dude,
those
Triano games are hard, man.
I want it to be fun without having to fully go. Like, I don't mind if I have to calc gym leaders and Elite Four. Fine, kind of comes with the territory. If I got to calc fucking random miscellaneous trainers, okay, now you've just pissed me off. Now I don't want to do this. This is more than I was bargaining for. I'll say this, and this is my secret Game Freak theory, because we've got a lot of video games out here, is that our age and generation of Pokemon players, we shit on the new ones for how easy they are. And I think, because Game Freak can't do that because they still have to sell to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
But I do secretly hoping/think they made Gita so unbelievably shitty as a champion to show this is what happens when, like, okay, maybe we went too far with Cynthia and Steven. They're a little crazy. Let's backtrack it a little bit because we're trying to entertain 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Okay. And they showed us what happens when you walk all the way to the fucking other side and the champion is out of the, like, quote unquote 5 endgame fights in that game.
Oh, she's
like
not.
Arvin,
she's not the champion, dude.
Yeah, she sucks.
She's
not
the worst. She's not the champion in my eyes. It's definitely Nimona. Nah,
she's worse than Arvin.
Here's
how you worse than Arvin?
Here's my thing, man. I'll write her team right now. All you gotta do is you switch Glimora to first, King Gambit to her ace, get rid of Go-Goat. You can either get rid of Go-Goat or Veluza.
Avalugg.
Avalugg, I mean, like, if you Eevee it right, it's tanky. You can make it kind of tanky. Honestly, if it was Hisuian, where it's Ice Rock or something, cool. But I would throw in Goldango to this.
Goldango would be
I think I would also scrap Avalugg for... because you get Baxcalibur there. I think you have to throw Goldango in there. Scrap...
There's mods that
scrap,
just switch...
yeah, scrap Go-Goat. Espathra is a fucking demon, but you have to have Glimora...
That's insane.
You have to, like, throw Glimora out first. Oh, everything, like, if I hit this thing, it creates toxic spikes. I poison my team. I'm punished if I switch. You make her so much harder. And maybe give her. I mean, I don't know. Toss in a Garchomp too. Just give her Garchomp for memes. Why not? You can get Gibble in the game. You know, I found the Garchomp in the game, and there's no Garchomp on the Dragons guy's team. So just give her Garchomp.
Have her
or shit. Oh my god, you want give her T-Tar. Give her Tyranitar.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because you want to know why? King Gambit isn't affected by Sandstorm. So if...
Oh, because he's steel.
Yeah. So if Glimora, like, makes the toxic spikes, right? And then, like, Espathra is, like, a demon, and Golden goes on the team, and Golden goes a demon, and then she tosses out T-Tar right before she tosses out King Gambit. So now you have to deal with poison, weather... You have to deal with field conditions, weather, and a Pokemon whose ability is, if the entire team is done, I get a +5 to attack. And then you give it Focus Sash.
I was just about to say,
you have to give it
the one Focus
You
Sash.
have to give it... I mean, honestly, you give Espathra a Trick Room and then let her set up Trick Room. And then that's... You know, there are so many ways to make this, like, a monster team. Like
This bathroom trick room is
which I'm like, okay, you cut Veluza. You don't need Veluza if you have a trick room team. Veluza's too quick, but Goldango, sure, we toss Goldango in there. I could make Gita a demon. I can make her, and then we give her Pokemon items to hold.
See, that I wish they did more. Like, that's the one thing.
That's what BDSP does.
Game Freak.
BDSP does it with all their boss fights.
Like, it, because that teaches the game. Like, held items literally, whether you want to be casual or Nuzlocke, held items are fucking clutch.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally part of playing the fucking game.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, someone accused you of, and I went back and listened to it. They just want to say people are just idiots. So someone accused you when we were talking about devil fruits. Is that you called the castle fruit a Logia, and
the castle fruit.
We were talking about devil fruits. It was castle and where's the other one here?
Did I really? No, that's wrong. That's so wrong. Maybe I said it's like a Logia, but it's definitely not.
And then they have, I don't know, these people, they were going on cross. There's a lot of cross guild enjoyers, way more than I thought.
Amen.
But there's a lot of people who think that they're going to be the quote unquote before the final fight, they're going to be like the last crew the shots have to beat. And I'm like,
dude, Buggy's going to be king of the sea, man. I'm telling you. The world is going to know. The world is going to know that Buggy is king of the pirates. The pirates are going to know it's Luffy. And Luffy doesn't give a shit because he'll know he's the king of the pirates.
With that being said, Mappa, please animate it correctly. I don't know if he was sick, but we're just going to say he was sick. He didn't know what he was doing at the end. You just need to rewrite the ending.
That's so funny.
My guy who was doing reviews on JJK suddenly stopped putting out weekly reviews right before he got to the Gojo Sukuna fight. And I'm like,
no.
Wonder what happened, man. It was the greatest thing ever. And then you kept reading and went, oh no.
Dude, Justin's just trolling, man.
I love the creator. Totally Not Mark is great. He just suddenly seemed to stop after he was saying, this is the best shit I've ever read.
Hey.
Why did it stop being the best shit you ever read, Mark? You want to inform the people?
No.
Anyway.
I bet he still thinks it's hype. I don't think there's anything wrong with the ending. I think it's perfect.
Anyway, with that
right down to
being
the
said,
middle
Game
finger.
Freak,
Right down to the middle finger he gives you.
Game Freak, please hire Matt to help. Just contract him for the next Pokemon game. He will help you set up your fights. He can fix your champions. He can fix your gym leaders.
I just think if you have a Pokemon that's hard to get in your game, like a Spirit Tomb or a Goldango, and it's like a pain in the ass to fucking get, give it to the champion. I'm just saying.
Should have given her the mouse thing,
you get
the mouse thing's not bad.
Huh?
The mouse thing's not bad, and it literally doesn't show up in the base game at all. Like you
never
will fight.
Yeah, what's that? Mousehold? Give her Mousehold over Go-Go. Shoot, Mousehold, and then give it the die that lets it hit 10 times more accurately. Excuse me.
I was about to say, what the fuck item is this?
Oh, have you seen that? It's like Trick Die, and moves that hit more than once are more likely to hit for their maximum amount.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like Skill Link.
I think so. Hold on, I might be like, I'll have to like double check this off.
That'd be such a funny fight.
That it was in competitive for a bit because people were like, oh yeah, you like spec out Mousehold and then give him the item that lets him like hit 10 times every single time because he has that family move that lets him hit up to 10 times.
Holy fuck.
Is it Trick Die?
Imagine right before the Elite Four, like what if the last fight of Victory Road was just a troll and it was someone who threw out, give him the wide lens increases accuracy, right?
Yeah.
Wide lens's accuracy. You max out whatever you can, wide lens, or maybe if there's another item or another skill that does this, where it makes moves hit better. and the last dude just throws out 6 Pokemon, we're all fast as fuck and have 1-hit KOs. And like your last fight before getting in Elite Four is just some dude fucking just trying to fish you 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
Because of that, like you do a Nuzlocke and it's just like this dude. It's a total crapshoot. It's just like fuck. How many people are gonna die right now? And just give him fast ass Pokemon so you know he's gonna get at least a couple of them off.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what Loaded Die does. So, Loaded Dice causes multi-strike moves used by the holder to always hit at least 4 times, if possible.
Holy fuck.
If possible. So they still have to roll the accuracy check. For Population Bomb, which is the mouse hold move, hits between 4 to 10 times.
What's the power?
I believe it got nerfed because I think it got nerfed because once upon a time people were hitting like pretty consistently 10 times. Its power was Population Bomb power 20.
I was like, that's the only number you could do because if you're going,
but it hits
minimum.
I'm like, if it's guaranteed 80. It also has a 90% accuracy, so it has to perform an accuracy check. But like, come on,
the opportunity to do 200.
Yeah. If the user is holding Loaded Dice, only one accuracy check is performed, and it will hit between 4 and 10 times, with an even chance of each number of hits. That's so funny.
Maybe that's why they didn't say
if the user has Skill Link, this move will hit 10 times. And I'm pretty sure you can like skill swap Skill Link onto it pretty easily. Look at mouse hold.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, there are so many things you can do that Gita does not do. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm real. Don't get me started on this. It's so sick.
Hey, appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate everybody for checking in on the socials. Appreciate everybody for the comments. Even if they're mean, I take them all in stride.
I forgot that one of Mousehold's abilities is Technician, which adds 50% to moves that do less than 60. So we're talking now 40. And it hits at least it can hit at least 4 times. Anyway, have a nice day, guys.
Hey, man, appreciate everybody. As always, don't forget to go check out not only A&M group chat, Heartfelt Radio. We getting up early as fuck just to give y'all some content. Shout out to the motherfucker that was in here that called me stupid at 4:20 a.m. the other day. Shout out to you, because that's some real hateful shit to be up that fucking early. Like,
dude, the coffee had
shout out to you, man.
Coffee hadn't
hit,
hit,
appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week, man. We out.
Peace out, dudes.